Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about Saturn retrograde. Now, this retrograde period is way more significant and important than Mercury retrograde, if you ask me. Mercury retrograde gets this huge reputation, and we scream about it on the internet all the time as soon as he goes retrograde. However, it's Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter that I see make the most impactful moves within our entire lives. Mercury retrograde gets our attention because we see it at surface level, but Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter and Uranus have been working their magic under the radar for quite some time, and when that planet goes retrograde or direct, that's when we see a huge shift in energy. But it's Mercury retrograde that's like, see, here's the problem, solve it, do something quick. Now, Saturn is the planet of restriction, confinement, maturity, responsibility, limitation, karma, grow up. Like, that's the type of energy that Saturn brings. It wants you to be responsible. It wants you to be held accountable for your actions. In a lot of ways, and a lot of times, you'll hear people or astrologers talking about Saturn being the planet of karma. And that's because Saturn's main goal and purpose in our lives is to teach us lessons that we might have been ignoring for quite some time, or just things that we just don't want to accept or to acknowledge. Saturn makes it so that we have to face him straight on, look him dead in the eye, and tell him, I didn't finish that expense report, I'm sorry. And then Saturn says, because you didn't do it and I asked you 2 to 3 times, now you're going to get penalized, now you're going to get punished. So it depends on where Saturn falls within your chart, how this energy is going to manifest for you specifically, but across the board, we're all going to feel it for pretty much the same. Like I was saying before, Saturn rules our limitations, and with that, I get the biggest sound in my head of boundaries. When I say limitations, I want you guys to hear it not as, okay, this is my limit, this is where I draw the line, this is what I can't do. Saturn's purpose for being in your chart and Saturn's purpose for being in the cosmos is not to highlight your shortcomings. It's actually there to build up your strengths and to help you deal with and manage your weaknesses. So when I say the word limitation, and when Saturn retrograde has you revisiting those old limitations, really what it is that he's saying and wants you to do is to go back and say, look, this is the actual limit. This is where I am creating a boundary for a very good reason. I need to protect myself. I need to protect my property. I need to take care of my responsibilities. That's the other thing that Saturn rules, is responsibilities. In connection and in conjunction with that is commitments. What things have we committed ourselves to? When Saturn is retrograde, it says take some steps back and revisit those commitments that you have chained yourself to, that you have anchored yourself to. And that's another thing that Saturn rules, is that energy of that anchor. Is that anchor holding you in place for structure and stability, or is it holding you down and stopping you from moving forward? So when Saturn is retrograde, it's that chance to kind of revisit. Let's say you have graciously and happily committed yourself to something, whether it be a job, a person, a situation, a living environment, whatever the case is, and you are happily there. Saturn retrograde knows better than you and I whether something is there for our highest and greatest good. If it is not there for our highest and greatest good, he will work to break it down. Saturn is strength. In fact, he rules bones, he rules teeth, he rules our overall strong, like our strong health, our spot, like our backbone. And if there is a weak area within whatever it is that we've committed ourselves to, whether we love it with all of our hearts or whether it's just something that we're like, well, there's nothing else, so I said yes to it. If there are weak areas within that area of your life, it will 100% be broken down. When you start to see that crumbling process, the best thing to do is to take a step back, give him room to work his magic, and stay open to watch how it's trying to shift and change. The biggest thing that I can always say with Saturn retrograde and Saturn transits in general, including Pluto transits, is to be patient. Saturn is not the planet to try and push and make something happen. Saturn simply will not allow it. Saturn is the very opposite of speed. It wants you to slow down. It wants you to check, and double check to make sure that things are strong and have a firm foundation. And those type of things take time. Let's say it's a relationship. And relationships in a lot of ways, it's like, okay, well, what is this? What is the title? Are we committed? Does this relationship, even though I love you, does it feel like a burden, or is it a burden that I can carry and I can handle? Saturn retrograde, if that relationship is not strong and not designed for long term, whether you want it to be or your partner wants it to be, we always have to have respect and an honest communication with the universe, and give the universe and the higher power, the divine, the space to work our lives and tweak our lives in the way that it should be. Remember again that Saturn is connected to karma, so a lot of things are kind of destined for us. However, even though Saturn is the planet of karma, I see more karmic connections and more karmic events happening with things like the vertex or the natal node. It's Saturn that comes in and kind of with a little chip and a little hammer and goes in and chips here in order to make a masterpiece, or to break it down and tell you, you need to just put your time and attention elsewhere, because this is not going to pay off in the long haul. The other thing that I want to say is that we, for a lot of times, even us intuitives, even us guides, we know that we have to stay open to the divine. We have to stay open to the higher power. Call it the higher power, whatever you want to, but you do have to have a healthy level of respect for what is destined for our lives and our purpose here on Earth. And with that being said, there's certain things that we just simply cannot control and that we need to be flexible with. Saturn is one of those planets that is showing you again that even though your intent is for XYZ, this may not be it for you. Focus on this. Again, Saturn wants to build up and to make strong. If there are, again, pieces of your life that need to be restructured and disconnected and tweaked in any way, shape, or form, or completely removed, Saturn retrograde is going to be the time for us to kind of see that breakdown. Thank God for it. That's one of the reasons why I love Saturn. Number one, he's one of my favorite planets. Always, at least, actually no, let me not lie. I used to hate Saturn. I used to hate Saturn, and I used to hate Pluto, and I would love the planets like Jupiter and Venus because they made more sense to me, and I just thought like they were just so positive all the time. That's simply not the case. Saturn, I've learned, I'm 30 years old now on the day that I'm filming this. Saturn has now become my best friend. And I look out to him for guidance. I look out to him for consultation. I look out to him to show me where I need to grow, show me where I need to be better. Because I'm so open to working with the energy of Saturn, last 2 years of me being accepting and open to working with his energy, he has grown me so quickly, so fast, so hard, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world. That's what I want for my viewers and anybody else that's connected to the Behati Vibe Tribe community, is to stay open to the energy of these planets, to not get lost in the sauce of people saying, oh my God, Saturn's gonna go retrograde, this shit's gonna hit the fan. Like, calm down. You've lost yourself. You've lost your personal power. Reconnect, refocus. Nothing should be taking your power away from you but you. And if it's you are working as your own enemy, it's time for you to build up and get strong again. And that's why you're probably subscribed to this YouTube channel, because I am going to be that reminder of that time and time again. And I'm never going to stop reminding you, because every single one of my clients needs to walk out in and out of my office, or tune into my YouTube channel and walk away from it feeling more empowered than ever. And it's not because I'm blowing smoke up your ass. It's because I'm telling you truth, okay? Pardon my French. All right, so anyways, back to what it was that I was saying. So Saturn is going to, when he's retrograde, he's going to ask you to revisit the areas that you may need to become more disciplined on. So let's say Saturn is sitting in your 6th house of health and everyday routine. Your 6th house is so important because he shows the small, simple tasks that you do every day that make an impact over time and that build up over time. Let's say you're eating a lot of Twizzlers and Sour Patch Kids every single day. And over time, that's going to break down and wear down the strength of your teeth and your health. So Saturn, let's say Saturn's going retrograde within your 6th house of health. That says, I need you to be more disciplined and to revisit your discipline and go back to creating a structured diet that's going to protect your longevity and your health for a long term. Do you see how all of that was connected? You have routine, you have structure, you have strength, and you have long term. All of those things are connected to what Saturn rules and what Saturn is trying to bring into your life. If you are open to it, then you get the reward, which is long life. So 90 plus years if you don't get hit by a bus, knock on wood. Not that that would happen. Sorry, morbid. I'm morbid. Anyways, let's say you don't stick to that discipline plan. Let's say you deviate from it and you are not mature and you don't want to invest in your health. Then continue on with your lifestyle, and then you know what, when you hit 40, 45, 50, 60, 63, that's when you're going to start seeing that cycle come back up, that karma, and knock you out, give you that old 1-2 punch, and God forbid, put you in the hospital or 6 feet under. All right. So those are things that you want to look out for. Let's say it's career. And the Saturn is moving through your 10th house of career and work and social status. If you are disciplined, if you are working to perfect you know, your practice, your gifts, your talents, if you are networking, if you are responsible, if people can rely on you, if you are a leader, if you are strong, if you're mature, if you're assertive, then, or whatever it is that your talent is, if you are aggressively building towards that and have a daily routine, a daily structure, a daily practice, and stick with that, then you will reap the benefit, the reward, which is after Saturn goes finally turns and moves direct, then you start seeing the benefit and the payoff of that. You've learned so much about yourself. You've gained more clients. You got rid of crappy clients that probably weren't going to pay you or see your value or see your worth. And if that was the case, then you don't need them anyways, because there's so many people out there that actually will value you and love what it is that you do and take care of your craft. And then also, over time, again, patience is a virtue. Over time, that daily practice that you set and established for yourself, when you had the time to reflect on it when Saturn is retrograde, is now paying off 10, 15, 20 years from now. Now, I know that sounds crazy, like, Jess, I don't want to wait 10 and 15, 20 years to see success or to see the benefit in my life. You know what? My answer to that is that you never know when your blessing is going to come through. It can come in tomorrow because of the changes that you made yesterday, or it can come in 20 years. But either way, that time is going to pass. Make sure that you are constructive. Make sure that you are productive. Make sure that you are the best, the best. That's why after 17 plus years of studying tarot and 12 to 13 years studying astrology, I am still to this day waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, because I'm psycho, and pulling up charts. And it's just wherever I'm always learning. I'm always wanting to see what the masters have done. I'm always looking to see what people are now doing, how they're looking at the charts now, because this is my craft. This is my passion. This is my profession. And I want to be the best at it. Not only am I a perfectionist, but I'm open to learning and growing and never being stagnant. And there's so much out there. How could I not want to learn and gain that knowledge so that I can share that and with my clients and then also benefit from it myself? Are you kidding me? There's so much out there, and I want it in my hands and in my apartment and in my apothecary. All right, so that being said, those are just a few little examples that I have. There are a few things that I want to mention. Do not take shortcuts during Saturn retrograde. I can I can, from experience, I hate to say this, and I'm not proud to say this, but not recently, but when I was younger, I would take shortcuts with Saturn retrograde, and it never bodes well. Saturn, again, is that old man on the front porch with his cigar and with his glass of whiskey, who doesn't say much, but when he does, you stop and you listen, and he will, when you do something wrong, he may not say it in that moment, but when the time is right, he will come up and catch you, and you will get the ass whooping of a lifetime. And that's what you don't want, is you do not want Saturn bending you over his lap and just beating the crap out of your behind. It comes in the form of like finances, relationships, taxes, things that you may have missed that you should have taken care of, health issues. It will punish you. Do not take shortcuts. You are not going to outsmart the system. Like, do not take the shortcuts. You may be brilliant, you may be smart, you may have been the top in your class, but I can guarantee you and promise you that you will regret any shortcut and this like trickster, cunning. No, the universe is not here for it, boo-boo. Don't do it. You've heard it here first. Take the time, grow up, honor your commitments, reevaluate your commitments, and do what is expected of you. The one thing that I want to say is I'm really interested to see how our government, especially in the United States, and also how, you know, in the world, how our actions the last 6 months, 7? Okay, I'm sorry. I always like to ask first before I speak from my guides. Don't anyone call me schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic. I actually have communications with my angels and my guides, and then every single one of my predictions are always broadcasted here on the YouTube channel, and they always come true. And I'm learning how to add videos in a video so that you can see and revisit my predictions and be like, oh, Jess actually knew what she was talking about. So not that anyone has ever called me schizophrenic or anything like that, but like I don't want it to be misunderstood. But anyways, I'm seeing six months. I asked in my head, like, is it 8 months, 7 months? And it says no, last 6 months. For us to, I'm interested in seeing how the government is going to play out with Saturn retrograde. And again, we have April 17th until September 6th that we're going to start seeing this kind of like restructuring. I see the government sorting itself out. I see a lot of past actions coming back to bite government officials in the ass now, as if we haven't already, but it's going to get more intense. You're going to start seeing people getting outed. You're going to start seeing people getting stripped from their positions, stripped from their roles, because they're not able to like hold up to their level of the bargain. They're not able to hold up their commitment. They're not able to follow through with what it is that they were promising. If they were lying or hiding things or taking shortcuts, that's when Saturn retrograde says, no, you said that you would be able to do this. Now, where is it? Let me see it. Where are the receipts? Where are the facts? I want to see it in black and white. And if you haven't seen it in black and white and it's all fluff and words, then you are not capable of what you are saying that you are capable of. So the U.S. government, the world as a whole, is going to kind of put its foot down, and it can create some lightning bolts of change that we'll see. And I am concerned a little bit for the globe. Nothing that to make us all scared, but we definitely want to, put those positive light and vibrations out there. I feel like we're seeing some of it even now. But it's just during this time when Saturn goes retrograde, it's just too much of taking those steps back and a lot of tension and just these old things that we literally cannot suppress anymore. There's going to be so many people who are pushing and wanting to fight. War is another issue. Leaders, politicians, government, all of this stuff is going to surface, and it'll really be interesting to see how it plays out for the next few months, April until September 6th. So that's what it is that I'm seeing. in our own lives, learn from your mistakes in your own lives, revisit your commitments. It's okay to say no. Saturn is the one planet that says, tell them no, you can't do this. And it's not because you're not capable, it's because you are committed. You have other things that are taking your time and your attention right now, and you have to give them your full 100%. That being said, I'm out because they're doing construction and I'm not gonna be able to talk over this. And I'm pretty much done this video anyways, so let me know what you guys think. Keep this video flagged somehow, bookmarked, so that you can revisit it as we move forward, and I'll keep on referring back to it as we move ahead, because there are going to be some powerful transits that we're going to watch each week, and of course I'm going to give those transits and those important updates to you here on BehatiLife YouTube, but also we'll talk about them live on BehatiLife Instagram. I love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Bye.